met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Called the Tricky Triangle by some, Pocono Raceway is utterly unique. Situated in the Pocono Mountains of northeast Pennsylvania, the 2.5-mile tri-oval features 3 very different turns connected by straightaways of varying length. Turn 1 banked at 14 degrees, Turn 2 is banked at 8 degrees, and Turn 3 at just 6 degrees. Pocono's main straightaway is the longest on any North American speedway at 3,740 feet. The Long Pond straightaway stretches for 3,055 feet between turns 1 and 2, while the run from turn 2 to turn 3 is just a mere 1,780 feet. The resulting speedway poses special demands on drivers and engineer alike. For a chassis that works well in the steeply banked turn 1 will be less than ideal for the flatter turn 2, let alone turn 3. The downforce necessary for maximum grip in any of the turns will slow a car in 2 long straightaways. Turn 3 requires heavy braking, in some cases even a gear change, making Pocono Raceway among the world's most challenging speedways. Pocono Raceway became synonymous with NASCAR racing in the Mid-Atlantic region, located equidistant from New York City and Philadelphia. With the rabid race fans of Central PA nearby, the track attracts huge crowds for its NASCAR Cup Series weekends. Since Petty's win in 1974, the greatest names in stock car racing have visited Victory Lane at Pocono. Not to mention Denny Hamlin, who attributed much of his early success at Pocono to his sim racing experience. Pocono Raceway also plays host to ARCA Series, as well as a round of NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races. Tonight, it's the Lonestar Racing Cup Series Pocono 247, and it's next on HBR TV. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV. Welcome to the virtual Pocono Raceway. Practice underway here at the Speedway. Just a few minutes, just a couple of minutes remain in the session. Drew Blaze currently the fastest at 54.07. Moving right along here. We've seen sometimes in unofficial practices in the 53s. Track temperature certainly having a lot to do with that, of course. Currently 106 degrees, 78 degree air temperature, 55% humidity. A 25-minute practice with just 60 seconds remaining. Jump into the qualifying session right after this. It's a 5-minute session to get 2 laps in. We'll set the field for tonight's race. Chris Harvey, of course, our pole sitter in the stream chat. Seems to be the first one in here almost every night lately. Thanks for popping in once again, Chris. Again, race distance tonight, 99 laps. Going to be 1 lap shy of 250 miles. Why? Because they just want to be different. That's okay. Practice complete. Clock's at 0. Looks like Sean Roberts will be first to roll. Bit of a home race for Sean Roberts, Albertus, PA native. Roberts starts lap 1 of 2. Hard to say which one's going to be the fastest. Again, you got to carry the momentum through this whole place, but all 3 corners very different from one another. Bit of a downshift for Roberts. We'll see guys shifting here this afternoon between 5th and 4th for the most part. Don't think you'll see anybody grab 3rd gear in turn 3 this afternoon, though it could happen. Just don't see it being the case. Sean Roberts across the line, completes lap 1. 54.734, probably not going to be a pole speed. Chris Goins on the track. Had some pace in practice. We'll see where Chris ends up. Currently, it's Terry Crouch on the pole. 54.23 the time for the 59 machine. Drew Blaze goes P2, 54.25. That was his first lap. Still has 1 more to go. As does Terry Crouch. They're both going to finish their laps right about the same time as Chris Goins crosses the line. 7th quick, 54.601. Drew Blaze again, first lap, 54.252. See if he can pick it up on his second time by. Terry Crouch is going to try and do the same. 54.18 for Drew Blaze, goes P1. Second lap for Terry Crouch, not faster, 54.23. Kevin Blue, lap 1, 54.511. He's off turn number 3. We'll see where he can land here in the second lap. .595, a little bit slower in this case. Justin Johnson across the stripe, taking the green. Way up the racetrack. Going to be a throwaway lap here, it looks like. Justin back to the front stretch here. Lap 1 is, don't expect a real fast one the first time around. Where does he end up? 55.61, 19th quick for Justin Johnson. Corey Deal on his second lap. Corey Deal, the number 9 HBR TV Toyota, as qualifying comes to an end. Corey doesn't get his second lap in. We'll take a look at our starting grid here from Pocono Raceway. On the pole position with a lap time of 54.178 seconds. It's the Garza Law Firm number 1 of Drew Blaze, and to his outside, it's the 59 TLDR SimSport driver Terry Crouch. Row number 2, Nick Kolakowski, the number 22, starts third. Jason Blaney, the 24 machine with Fueled Up Motorsports, he'll roll fourth. Sean Roberts, the 66 Shenandoah Shine, he'll start fifth. Michael Doan, the 007, starts sixth. PJ Cox, the 05, he'll roll from the seventh spot. Kevin Blue, the 54 with Lonestar Racing, he's going to start in the 8th position. 9th goes to Derek Welsh in the Numb Thumbs Racing Machine, the 01 instead of the 1. Chris Goins with Right Turn Racing, the 28 starts 10th. Ken Couch in the 08, he'll roll from the 11th position. 12th goes to Darrell Larson in the 5. Dan Storm in the number 80 Team Tracks entry, he'll start 13th with Tommy Kohick to his outside starting 14th. Mike Fahey, the number 19, his familiar number. Lone Star Racing Zone will start 15th. Tim Dummermuth, the 86, will start 16th. Clay Atwood, 17th in the 111. Chris Klein, another Numb Thumbs Racing driver, the 51 starts 18th. Justin Johnson in the 10X starts 19th. Corey Deal didn't get that second lap in, will start 20th. Jarrett Woodard, the 79 out of Canada, 21st. Mark Collins, another NTR entry, the 45, he'll roll off 22nd. 23rd, Ken Blackburn in the 155 with Dave Coburn from New York in that number 20, starting 24th. Last row, it's the 43 of Jonathan Arnn and Juan Jimenez, 25th and 26th, rounding out the field. That's your starting grid here from Pocono Raceway. Field sits on the starting grid here, getting ready to roll off for one pace lap as we get ready to go under the green flag for 99 laps. Drew Blaze pulling up the racetrack here. I believe Drew does have a wind penalty tonight. It's going to make things awfully difficult. So that's going to move everybody up a spot. Terry Crouch, technically going to be the pole sitter here, but he's going to be on the outside. Not sure if they're going to give the 59 the lane choice or not. It's going to put the 22 of Nick Kolakowski to his inside as we get ready to go into Greenfield, working out of turn 2, the tunnel turn. The short chute between 2 and 3. Pace car lights are off, takes the hard left turn down pit lane. Nick Kolakowski way out in front. Green flag waves. He may catch a black for this. We're underway here from Pocono Raceway. Nick backs off considerably here. Not sure if he got that automatic black flag from iRacing or if he got away with one. Either way, he's slowed up a bit, giving some spots back just to be on the safe side. Out of turn 3, first time around, Terry Crouch, the lead well in hand. Half a second back to the 66 of Sean Roberts. Field of 26 cars already stretching things out here. Crouch already out to almost a full second advantage here, lap and a half in, stretching it out over the 24 of Blaney. Blaney has made short work of Sean Roberts and Nick Kolakowski. Drives it in deep down into turn number 1, closes in on the back bumper of the 24. Blaney keeps his foot in it. 22 slides up the racetrack, has to check up just a bit out of the corner. Gains a bit of a run, maybe some draft down here the Long Pond straightaway. Good run down through the tunnel turn. The 22 takes a look to the inside on the 24 of Blaney. Had the position for a moment, wasn't able to keep the power down out of the corner. Now he's got the 007 of Michael Doan to his outside. That battle now continuing. This would be for the 3rd spot. Roberts might have scraped the right side of the fence there. Just a bit down the backstretch. The 22 tucks in behind the 66. Caution on the speedway. Not sure who's been involved in this. Maybe Drew Blaze. Nope, Daryl Larson. Big trouble here. This looks to be into turn 3.
Check the one on your headset, on your headboard actually, on your left-hand side, on your headrest. 1, 2,
4
3,
cars involved. Daryl Larson, Tommy Kohick,
copy.
Tim Dummermuth, Ken Couch.
4.
Let's get a look at it, see what happened. From the blimp, little wiggle out of the 5, tank slapping already. So hard to catch these cars. iRacing doing a great job in getting this right as far as the handle on these race cars. If you've listened to the Dale Jr. Download at all recently, Steve Letarte on air talking about how with the old tire compound or old tire design with that taller sidewall, you used to be able to lean on that flex of that tire a little bit. With these new next-gen Cup cars and that low-profile sidewall, not really the case. You might have a guy that, I think I got it, I don't got it. I think I got it, I don't got it. And that's exactly what we just saw there with Daryl Larson. We'll look at it one more time here. You see the wiggle. Correction, 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 and then just too much. She sends it up in the wall in front of the path of the 86. That was Tim Dummermuth, and then other drivers just piling in after the fact. 00 Tommy Kohick. 08 Ken Couch. So first caution of the afternoon. Only a few laps in. Terry Crouch continues to lead. We're going to jump out and get a break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Pocono Raceway, the Lonestar Racing Cup Series, Pocono 247.5. Tristan Sykes already here talking about Mike Fahey. How long until Mike Fahey dumps another poor innocent soul? You guys caught any of the Bristol race, the Noble Cup Series, Noble Racing Series last Sunday night? It's a typical Bristol, that's for sure. A lot of tempers flaring during and after. Mine included. Field on the 1 to go. Terry Crouch with the lead. He's going to have to hold off Jason Blaney. He's a hard charge in number 24. Caution's going to get him caught up here and give him a shot here on the restart with the 59. Terry sporting a Living Print sponsorship on that Ford Mustang. Pace car's off.
Green flag.
Green flag waves. Terry Crouch, a great jump. Caught Blaney sleeping. Crouch with a good restart, puts about 2.5 tenths over the 24 of Blaney. Down the backstretch into the tunnel turn. Off turn 3, Terry Crouch still with the lead across the line. 9 laps go on the board. Blaney not giving up though. Car length behind the 59, slowly stalking Terry Crouch. Blaney out of Jacksonville, Florida. He's got a run out of turn 1. Takes a look to the inside. He's got it done. Clears the 59 through the tunnel turn. New leader, lap 9. It's Jason Blaney. Took all I had not to say Ryan. Jason Blaney out front. Number 24 off turn 3. He's going to see the flag stand here. It'll be 10 laps up on the board. Terry Crouch runs second. Michael Doan, Sean Roberts, PJ Cox the top 5. Then it's Nick Kulikowski, Chris Goins, Derek Welch, Drew Blaze up 8 spots. Now 10th, up 9 spots, back and forth with Justin Johnson. Meanwhile, we got a battle for second. Terry Crouch and Michael Doan going at it. Drew Blaze says down 8 spots. Remember, he had to go to the tail end of the field. Wind penalty from last week. Started at the back, and after 10 laps, already up into the top 10. Doan clears Terry Crouch for the second spot. Had a good run down into turn 1. Jason Blaney still maintains the top spot. Had a better corner than Doan. A little wiggle on entry for Blaney, but he drives through the corner a lot better. Bit of a downshift there for Michael Doan. Don't know if he went too far through the gear set or not. I think he hurt the car at all. Still maintains about a 2.5 gap to the leader, and a caution is out once again. Dan Storm, it looks to be involved in this one. Second yellow of the day comes on a lap 11. Let's see what happened with Dan Storm. Oh, contact with Mike Fahey. Tristan Sykes causing that one in reality, but Fahey's getting the blame. Now, I don't know what happened after the fact. It looked like Storm might have had it straightened out. Gets to the bottom. And it takes a hard right back up the racetrack. Relatively flat over there on the back straightaway. Though the left side close to the inside safer barrier does have quite a few bumps. Let's try to get a better look at it. Tough to say if Dan came down or Fahey just forced his way in. Storm definitely has some damage on that left front. May have to burn the faster pair. Does roll off the pit lane. So 12 laps in, about to be 13, working our second caution of the night. Nobody needs to see him pace around Pocono Raceway, so we're going to jump out, get another commercial break done. We'll be back with a restart after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
hopped in a butter. Lord, I can't stop feeling sorry for myself.
Back at Pocono Raceway, caution number 2 about to be over with here. We're going to get the green flag. Lap 15 as they cross the stripe. Pace car lights are off. Field work in turn 3. Pace car pulls to the left. Field into the Geico restart zone. Green flag waves. Blaney with another good jump. We have a surprise guest up in the broadcast booth. It's Zach Millett. Thanks for popping in, Zach.
Hey, it's good to be here, Steve.
It's always good to have an extra guy in the booth.
Hey, all you had to do was say Pocono, and I came running. I got as quick as I could.
Pocono.
Pocono.
We do appreciate it here as Blaney continues to lead over Michael Doan, Terry Crouch, Sean Roberts, Nick Kolakowski. Chris Goins now up into that 5th position. By a nose, doesn't have him clear. Nick battles back on the high side. Roberts and Goins both staying low. Seems that mid to high lane is kind of the fast way around at the moment.
Yeah, I think it is. It's tough when you get to the straightaway, though, because you have to be up against the wall to keep that draft. If you pulled out even half the car, you lose so much ground.
Drew Blaze closing in as well. He's just behind Chris Goins. Remember, Blaze started at the back. Wind penalty, had to go to the rear at the start. He's up to 7th.
Not wasting any time.
Nope. Never does.
Well, he always does say liquor is quicker.
Blaze to the inside with Chris Goins up top. Going to take over the 6th position on his march towards the front. I really want to see Blaze get up here and contend with Blaney, Doan, and Crouch. That's going to be the funnest battle to watch. Sean Roberts also in that mix. He's no slouch either.
Man, I can't give enough credit to Terry Crouch. He being as fast as he is on the road courses, he's been giving this a lot of practice, this NASCAR stuff, and it's starting to show.
Well, he said it even in some interviews, mostly on the GT3 side, because that's about the only time we've been able to talk to him post-race. He's been doing this a long, long time, but admittedly, he's even said it's been years since he's put the time and effort into oval racing. Yes, he had some success at it back in the day, but he's been doing mostly road course stuff since then. It's kind of been the discipline that he's chosen to run. It's more fun for him, but I don't know, we've kind of guilted him or convinced him or something just to get him out here run some of these oval races, and some contact almost with the 22 and PJ Cox in the 05. He checked up just enough to avoid wrecking that car. Meanwhile, the 22, I think he got a piece of the wall off exit of 3.
Man, good thing these cars are tough.
They really are built like tanks, but I think he might have got away with it. The right side is still clean. Might have just gotten into the dust to throw up some marbles, but looks pretty good for now. The crazy thing, too, you listen to that digger cam. The leaders going through there, Blaney, Doan, Crouch, Goins, Roberts, all those guys. You can really hear the difference in RPM from the top 5 race cars versus the 10th, 11th, 12th, and so on. You're talking probably 500 RPM difference between those groups of cars. It's incredible.
It really is, and a lot of these guys run this course totally different. It's some guys are shifting every lap, some guys keep it in 5th. I didn't really see much of a difference going to 5th on some of the straightaways. Like between turn 2 and turn 3, I just left it in 4th, but I don't know.
I don't know if you got much of a long run in. Again, you were helping me with cameras earlier on this afternoon, turning some laps at Pocono, but you said you were shifting, of course. Did you do any long enough runs to determine if keeping it in 5th was better for fuel or if it made a difference or not?
I almost think it has to be better. I know the one long run I got up to was maybe 11 laps. It wasn't much of one at all. But keeping it in fifth, I think I was really saving a lot of tire and a lot of fuel.
Interestingly enough, Chris Goins, after getting passed by Drew Blaze, has quickly battled back. He's contending for the second position here. He's got a nose out in front of Michael Doan as they get down into turn number 1.
I know it's a little late, Steve, but Chris Goins is definitely my pick here. He's always strong at Pocono. The first broadcasters race I was a part of, he was right there with me in that one. That was a wicked fun race, and he's smart. He's going to keep his stuff kind of, down low, kind of out of the spotlight for a while, and then when it's time to go, he's going to go.
Well, we're only 20 laps in, and he's going. Wasn't able to clear Doan. Man, I'm blending names now. For that second spot, maintains the third position, but Drew Blaze has closed back in.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte. Jones might have that second spot now. Doan goes topside, and he's got Drew Blaze to worry about also to his inside, so Chris Goins up to P2. Chris Goins has got some pace. He's caught Blaney. He's right there, just a few feet off the back bumper of the 24. Putting the pressure on here, 21, almost now 22 laps in.
Yeah, this is going to get good, Steve. You got two of the best at saving tire wear up in the front, Goins and Blaze.
Well, that's just it. I know Chris Goins did put a lot of time in pre-session, putting some laps in, trying long runs, different strategies, so on and so forth. But looks like Drew Blaze might have got the wall out of turn 1 there. Again, you mentioned it early, Zach. His cars are built very well, very strong, so he can certainly get away with that. Just got to watch the suspension. Obviously, that rear toe link, the weak point on these race cars. Other than that, though, you can certainly beat and bang the bodies as Chris Goins looks to the inside for the lead.
Beautiful pass. Looks like Drew Blaze is going to try to follow him right up through there.
Yeah, and it's Chris Goins has kind of acted like a lead blocker here, just trying to get through. Drew Blaze has taken advantage of both times that Chris has made a move for a pass. He's just kind of said, you know what, yeah, I'll go with you. This is the preferred lane. I'll stick to this. Blaney and Blaze, though, still battling for the position. Drew unable to make the pass clean. Chevy on the bottom, Ford up top, exit at turn 1. Drew dove it down, looked like his turn-in was a little bit too soon. The left side's got below that yellow line, which nothing illegal about it as far as the rules are concerned, but it didn't help. It upset the balance of the car, and you see Blaney has pulled it out to another car length. But man, Blaze drives it in deep, found some grip on the bottom.
It's like Blaney, he might have a run off that top side, though. Keeping it low is pretty tough coming off 3, but...
Well, Blaze done a good job keeping the momentum up down the front stretch.
There it is. Go right in.
Got it clear. Blaney starting to think with his head here, not pushing the issue too much. Again, we are just quarter distance here at Pocono. No sense to burning the tires up or risking a wreck. Chris Goins out to a 0.6 of a second advantage over Drew Blaze. Blaney still hanging tough, the back bumper of the one. The top three: Chris Goins, Drew Blaze, Jason Blaney, Nick Kulikowski, Terry Crouch. Starting to see some separation between the top five.
Little separation and definitely some drop in some lap times. I think the tires are starting to get the better of these guys.
Fastest lap we've seen thus far, Terry Crouch at a 54.10. Pretty good lap for race pace, but
Absolutely.
almost impossible to maintain it, especially with the tire fall off. Now, interestingly enough, some guys may opt for a two-tire stop at some point during this race, maybe for some track position. I guess it's going to depend on where they are within that pit window for tires and fuel. If you need a full load of fuel, there's really no benefit to going for two. You got to sit there and wait on fuel anyway. You might as well take all four. But I wouldn't be surprised to see someone at least try it.
Yeah, some guys pre-race were actually preferring how the car drove taking two tires. It loosened it up a little bit in entry and in the middle of the corner, and it made it a lot easier to drive. But who knows, maybe longer in that run, it would be, pretty hard to drive.
Well, it's an interesting concept because a lot of guys will talk about two tires versus four in, let's say, the ARCA car, for instance. If you take just right sides in the ARCA car, you better like driving a loose race car because it's going to be a handful. Kind of the same situation with the trucks, and I don't really see a huge benefit to going 2 versus 4 in the truck series unless you're just in a dire straight situation, only maybe 2-3 laps left. You're not going to lose that many positions because anybody else on 4 is going to eat you up no matter what. Here in the Cup Series with this next-gen Cup car, not quite the situation. We found, not just in the sim, but even in reality, you can get away with a two-tire stop with these things. The tire compounds are pretty durable. They hold up quite well, and they don't give up too much pace overall. You can kind of gain a couple tenths back here and there. You maybe half a second off the pace if you went with just 2 versus a second and a half or more in a different style NASCAR race car. We'll have to wait and see who does it.
I hope somebody does it just so we can see the comparison.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you can do it in a practice session all by yourself or even with a couple of guys and kind of say, okay, yeah, it feels okay. It drives all right. My lap times are this versus this. But you really don't see the delta between the 4 versus 2 in race conditions. You really kind of just have to say, well, now's the opportunity to try it. Let's try it. Hope it works out. The question is, do you try it early in the run, early in the race, or your last stop of the day when you got to say, all right, well, it's time to gamble?
Yeah, I guess if you have nothing to lose, then why not? But if you do it too early, man, you're going to get stuck back in that traffic if it doesn't work out. And I don't know. We've seen a couple times the traffic in this race is pretty scary.
I guess if you make the move on the first stop of the day, if you've got more than a couple to work with, it's kind of a gamble. You kind of give up some track position for a chance, but if it works, then maybe you try it again on that last stop.
And I think we're in the stage of the race where everybody's kind of comfortable with how these cars are starting to feel. I'm thinking this might be a pretty long green flag stop, even through pit stops, as long as nobody spins it out on the
I thought we were going to go 3 wide there for a minute off turn number 3. Some drivers hitting pit lane, Mike Doan being one of them. And you called it, Zach. 29 laps in, some guys starting to think about pit stops. Mike Doan's done thinking. He's doing. Down pit lane, first driver to pull off the racetrack. Pitting this race in thirds. 2-stop race, it looks like. If he stays on this strategy, say we go green. Granted, we've had a couple of cautions, so maybe still a 3-stop race, depending on how things play out. Right sides for Doan. 4 tires and Sunoco Racing fuel all the way around, so it's a 4-tire stop for the 007. Well, back out front, Chris Goins still with the lead. Deficit shrinking between himself and Drew Blaze. 3.5 tenths. So, Zach, again, I know you didn't do a full fuel run, so to speak, early on, but roughly what was a fuel run, do you know?
I was just going to ask you the same thing. I thought
So
pre-race some of the guys... No, not for sure. A couple of guys pre-race, they were saying it was about that 30 mark, but, I mean, it's already lap 30, so I don't know what they can stretch this to, especially with the caution. I'm sure that made a pretty big difference. Boy, it'd be a pretty good achievement if somebody could make it to lap 34 and then pit. And if this thing were to stay green, they could actually stretch it.
There's a lot of strategy on the table here. It's what's nice about a place like Pocono Raceways. It's so big, 2.5 miles, but it's a super speedway. It's not really a super speedway. And I say that just because you've got 3 unique corners, all relatively flat. Of course, turn 1's 14 degrees. It's not super flat, but it kind of races like a road course. And you see some guys that may try to work a strategy like that, maybe be the first one to pit last and you're good to go. But man, we're watching this battle with Blaney and Sean Roberts. These guys are bumping and banging all over the place, and Corey Deal is coming up through in a hurry, trying to get on by. He's got a lot of pace. Guys are twitchy all over the racetrack.
Boy, it is so hard to hit your marks when you're tucked up behind somebody in these cars. It's like sitting behind a wall. You can't see a thing.
Derek Welch in the 01 NTG entry just behind Corey Deal and PJ Cox. Right side of the frame. You can kind of see a shadow. The green nose, there he is. Left of the frame, Sean Roberts, then Corey Deal and PJ Cox. Corey going to make a move to the inside into turn 1. Yeah, he's got the spot.
Ooh, pushes up the hill a little bit.
Or doesn't. Chris Goins has stretched it out over Drew Blaze. Now it's a 1/2 to 0.6 of a second. As soon as I say that, shrinks a little bit more down to 3.5 tenths. Blaze must have had a big run out of the corner. Top 2 starting to get away. "33 laps in, your leader, Chris Goins. Second, Drew Blaze. Third, Nick Kulikowski. Then it's Terry Crouch. And then 5th, Jason Blaney. Stick here for a moment. Drew Blaze challenging for the lead. Less than a car length between the 28 and the 1. 28 Goins, the 1 of Blaze.
Looks like Chris's car is getting a little tight on him.
Just yields the spot to Drew Blaze. No need in pushing the issue so early on. Or maybe not. Chris Goins dives into the bottom, closes right back to the back bumper of Drew Blaze, crosses over, looking to the high side down the front stretch, and I think he's going to lead that lap still.
Beautiful.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yellow's out.
Yellow on the speedway. Just as Jason Blaney enters pit lane, and it might have been Blaney spinning out of pit lane.
Oh, somebody else just wrecked down the front stretch as well. Yep.
Terry Crouch is in the pits. This might work out really well for the 59. He's in his box as the caution comes out, so he's got a free stop. Four tires and fuel for Terry Crouch, and he's going to get back into this race unscathed.
Boy, that's
Free
perfect
pit
timing.
stop for the 59. Right as the pit window was starting to open for some of these guys. You couldn't have asked for a better opportunity for Terry Crouch. So let's see if we can figure out what happened here with Blaney. Puts us under the third yellow of the day. Oh, across the nose of PJ Cox. I'm going to back this up.
That's a weird spot.
It's coming to the start-finish line. I don't know if there was
You
some
know,
ill intent there or what the situation was.
certainly know it's wide enough.
So Blaney up top. PJ's closing up to that lane. He's coming up. You see his right sides are now on those white lines. Blaney's coming down at the same time. They just kind of come together. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if that's the dreaded aero vacuum, if you will.
Maybe they just both took a drink at the wrong time and Who knows?
He's not going to keep it off the wall.
No, it's just hard enough contact, too.
Does a good job of not getting a huge chunk of it, though. I'm going to ride on board with roof cam here.
Ooh.
PJ Cox. So PJ's got the right sides on that line, and Blaney's coming down at the same time. I don't know if he was just trying to cover the space, thinking that PJ would lift. I mean, it is early enough. I would kind of hope he would lift, but it's what it is. Meanwhile, pit stop's underway. Everybody down pit lane except for, well, you know who, Terry Crouch. Again, Terry Crouch was on pit lane, must have cleared that commitment line before the yellow came out. Was given a gift, able to complete his pit work. Looks like everybody taking 4 tires and fuel. So Darrell Larson stayed on the racetrack. He pit at lap 4, so he's going to need to pit. He's just staying out here to pick up some bonus points, I think. Michael Doan, he pit at lap 28. Remember, he was the first driver to pull off. Might have been gambling for this situation to happen because it puts him up towards the front with Darrell Larson. Again, Darrell's going to be on very, very old tires. And effectively, I don't know that he really did pit. He's listed as the leader. Says his pit stop was like 3 minutes, though. So that might be some bad information I'm getting out of the timing tower. Maybe he hasn't pit. Michael Doan, lap 28. Terry Crouch, 33, of course.
I think the 5 car might have been in one of the first accidents.
Well, I think he was, but I don't know how he would be listed as the leader at this point, even if he got the lucky dog. With a 2 minute and 45 second pit lane time, and then an additional 2:34 in the pits. He's going to pull off here and hit pit lane. Well, now it really doesn't matter why, because he's in the pits and it's going to switch things up anyway. Michael Doan, however, he is going to be our leader when we go back to the green flag. So it'll be Michael Doan, Terry Crouch, your front row, Chris Goins, Drew Blaze. No particular order. Blaze, of course, on the inside, so he's going to be your third place driver. Field working the back straightaway. Race car lights off, so we are on the 1 to go. A couple of stragglers at the back of the pack to get them tightened back up. Got one more. Come on.
Doesn't seem like he's in much of a hurry.
Looking for some gears, who knows?
There's lots of them, all 5 of them.
So thinking back early on, Terry Crouch was able to get a monster restart. But he was on the inside at the time. Now he's got to stick with the leader here. They are using the restart zone. Pace car is going to go hard left down pit lane.
Green flag.
Barney the flagman, green in hand, we're back underway. And a lot of lane changes before the start-finish line. and leads him down into one here. I'm curious to see if 5 laps of tire difference is going to make a big difference between these two. Terry Crouch all over the back bumper of Doan down the Long Pond straightaway.
Yeah, it shouldn't take too long, Steve, I don't think.
Terry Crouch retakes the top spot. Doan's going to tuck back in, try to pull a slipstream here down the front straightaway. Maybe try a repass into one, maybe not. Little update on our slow car coming to green. It says Strife in the YouTube chat. Not sure who that is on track. It says, oh, if I accidentally downshifted to first while catching the field after that stop.
Oh, no.
I'm not a mechanic, but that's not good for it. Drew Blaze up the racetrack while battling with Nick Kulikowski. He's going to lose a spot to Kevin Blue as well. Or is he? Battles back on the high side, but Sean Roberts comes into this picture as well.
It's a good run so far for Kevin Blue. He's streaming over on Twitch right now. Big Blue XXXL.
Blue's all excited. He's got this fancy new internet with good speed, reliability. I don't know who the carrier is, but he's happy about it. Almost contact with Blue and Corey Deal. He's doing streaming. He's back to no blinking during races again. Everything is good.
Life is good.
Clears the 9 off the tunnel turn. Kevin Blue up to P7. Again, keep an eye on Corey Deal. Not just because it says HBR TV on the side of that machine, but it also says Fahey Race Wraps. Corey's got a race win this season already. See if he can lock up a couple of more, this time with a new sponsor on board.
HBR looks pretty good in purple and yellow.
Well, I was told to learn to love it.
I think blue's pretty good too, though. I don't know. Pretty partial to blue.
I like my blacks, reds, and oranges.
Phrasing.
Corey Deal going to take a peek to the inside. Kevin Blue here. Blue slides up the racetrack. Missed his entry just a bit. Didn't hurt him too bad. Now Terry Crouch still out in front. Almost a full second now over the 007 of Michael Doan. Then it's Chris Goins up to P3. Nick Kulikowski, Drew Blaze, the top 5.
A lot of these guys from North Carolina tonight.
It's the home of racing, man.
16 more years, Steve. Moving there myself.
Is that all?
Maybe not quite.
Jason Blaney working his way back up through the field as well after that incident that put us under our 3rd caution. Still there with PJ Cox, makes short work of the 05. Now he's side by side with the 9 of Corey Deal. Back to the front straightaway. 43 laps go on the board. Blaney looking awfully aggressive, almost gets into the back of the 9 twice. Certainly looked like he was trying to send a message, hey man, I don't appreciate that. Two very aggressive drivers out here with some serious skill, and it almost went south.
Yeah, I'm thinking if that was an ARCA car, it wouldn't have been such a great outcome.
No. I don't know if they actually made contact, but if they didn't, it was awfully close. Deal checks up and goes to the inside. Lord. Corey Deal way early on checking up. Gets the 24 of Blaney to the inside. That was entry to turn 3. Corey might be setting him up for a crossover and a repass into 1. He's all over the 24, pushing him down the front stretch. Well, see, now I watch that. And let me get your take on it. On my end, it looks like we'll pull the term from DW, a little co-opetition.
It really did look planned, didn't it? It was beautifully done.
There's another, yep, they're bump drafting. So I don't know if they're working together. I know that these guys have raced each other before, not just here in LSR, so maybe they're familiar with each other. One's running the Yoda, one's running the Ford, so who knows, but I don't know. It seemed like there was a little cooperation there between the 9 and the 24 once Blaney got on by. It was a big bump going into 1 to push him by the 66 of Roberts. They're now separated between the two of them. 66 of Sean Roberts there in the middle, kind of the meat and the sandwich between the 9 and the 24. Kevin Blue still defending that position over Jason Blaney. Meanwhile, Michael Doan has slipped back to the 5th position. Remember, Doan had slightly older tires, restarted the race here as the leader. He's going back to lap 38. Kevin Blue making a move to the inside, trying to take that position away. Tucks back in behind. He's got to keep a close eye on the mirror, too, though, because Sean Roberts is ready to pounce. Follows Blue into the corner. Blaney's going to try to go to the high side and take away that top lane from the 66. No room to do it. Maybe he's got it now. Has a run out of the corner. Kevin Blue back to the bottom. Both drivers having to check up. There you have it, though. Blue's going to lose 2 spots in that corner alone.
Shows you how tight those cars get.
Chris Goins has moved himself up into P2. Nick Kulikowski back to 3rd. Drew Blaze 4th. Mike Doan 5th. Terry Crouch still out in front, 1.6 seconds ahead of the rest. Great battling for position here, though.
Yeah, boy, it's so hard to run through some of these turns side by side, but these guys are doing it no problem.
Well, I don't know if it's no problem. They just haven't wrecked yet.
Yeah, maybe it's a matter of time.
Oh, Justin Johnson slides up the racetrack, makes contact with, I think, Derek Welch. That was a close call.
Still saved it.
Everybody gets through. And it just looked like the 10 lost the nose in the corner, slid up. There was somebody there.
Yeah, it was a good job on Blue's part to check up and keep that from getting worse.
Justin Johnson riding in the top 10, up 9 spots, having a good afternoon. Now we're seeing the Corey Deal battle come back into play. Corey disappears for a moment, back in. Michael Doan, though, just a handful of lap older tires, and he is still falling backwards. Running in the 9th spot. Just 11 laps to go, restarted from the top spot. Continues to free fall through the field. Now he's got Justin Johnson to the left side. Chris Harvey in the stream chat. Go Deal, that's who I'm pulling for. I gotta be, unbiased, but he is kind of running my logo. Justin Johnson looking to the inside of Michael Doan, pulls out to pass after using some of that draft. It's alongside, dives into the bottom. Can he make it stick? It looks like Derek Welch considered following him through, but not enough room.
Well, did a good job keeping up the momentum coming out of that turn.
Well, we are just past halfway here at Pocono Raceway, watching some close battles on the speedway. We are going to step aside, get an HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. You won't miss a thing. Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. Derek Welch and Mike Doan. Contact. All right, these guys are separated. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Pocono Raceway, the Lonestar Racing Cup Series, Pocono 247. Terry Crouch continues to lead, but not by much. That battle shaping up. Crouch is there. Chris Goins closes in. Terry drives it way deep into the corner, stretches it out, but Chris Goins got the advantage, drive off.
That long race pace that Chris has got, he can make them tires last.
The tunnel turn. Oh, that's turn 3. I always do that. No, that was the tunnel turn. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, there's 3 turns.
There's
tonight.
one less turn I got to keep track of, and I can't seem to find it. Meanwhile, Chris Goins takes over the top spot. Clean over the 59 of Crouch. Must have long run pace here as we come to lap 55. Chris Goins back out in front. Terry Crouch, again, the beneficiary of perfect timing. The last caution coming out as soon as he gets to pit lane. Able to get that free pit stop out of the way. Stays on the racetrack, gains a ton of track position. Everybody else has to pit under the yellow. .111 and Clay Atwood slides up the track into the loose stuff. Battle for position shaping up here. Looks like Derek Welch. Actually, it's not for position, I don't believe. I think Ken Couch is the one in the 08 just ahead of Derek. Not a lead lap car. Sean Roberts looking to the inside of PJ Cox. This is for the 7th position if he can get it done. God, you hear him playing with that throttle a ton. Corey Deal up into the 6th position, up 14 spots. Started 20th. Remember, wasn't able to get that second lap in. Waited just a little bit too long to make his attempt. Time ran out. PJ Cox all over the 9. Big wiggle out of the 9 off at turn number 3. Don't know if he was trying to stay off the wall or was trying to throw a block to throw off the 05. Down the front stretch, though, he's right there in tow. 5 cars in a line. In front of him is Jason Blaney. And Corey Deal, PJ Cox, Sean Roberts, Justin Johnson.
It's almost that time again.
Yeah, we are closing in on some pit stops here. We really haven't had any cautions at all between the last green flag and now. Remember, they went 30 so laps before making the pit stops the first time around, but that included a couple of yellow flags. In this case, we've gone 30 straight, all under the green, so we may see these guys hit pit lane a little bit sooner. Corey Deal not bashful about using that front bumper.
Yeah, and we go back on how tough these cars really are. You can really throw a hit on some of these guys and the car stays straight. It's great.
And that's really what we're hearing from guys in real life that are driving these next-gen Cup cars. They were supposed to do some work to the rear end of these race cars and make them a little bit, quote, softer so that they can kind of crumble and absorb more energy on impacts. But guys were saying that even at the Clash, They didn't fix these cars just from getting bumped and banged in the rear. It was kind of rattling their cages. Wasn't a fun experience, but yeah, they're still pretty rigid. Of course, you don't get that kind of feeling in the sim.
Yeah, good thing. It's a good thing.
Chris Goins still your leader over now. Drew Blaze has moved himself up into the second spot. Terry Crouch has seemingly burned off his stuff here, is slipping back, but pit stops are coming soon, so that's just a little bit more tire savings he may need to work on in this final stint or two. Go up front though, Chris Goins. Drew Blaze within a 10th here. Been watching these guys battle it out most of the afternoon. Looking at best laps of the day, it's still Terry Crouch with a 54.10. Next fastest looks to be a 54.16, and that's Nick Kolakowski. Last lap time is 55.81 for your leader, Chris Goins, but a 55.69 for Drew Blaze. Drew Blaze is there, just a few feet, takes a look to the inside into turn number 3. We've seen this movie before. Last time Chris able to close it back down, crossover to the inside. We knew it was coming. Chris Goins, switcheroo back to P1.
Still beautifully done.
Just a matter of time. I think Drew is still going to get him, but we were hoping to see that. He made it work this time. Pass and repass. Goins, Blaze, and then Goins. .62 laps in of 99. Pit stops coming soon, still under the green flag.
See Chris dropping down to keep Drew out of his draft.
He's doing it the right way. Break that slipstream just a bit. Keeps the one off the back bumper, but it seems that the best part of the racetrack for Drew Blaze is the exit of the tunnel turn and then into turn 3. Turn 3, though, still a really good corner for Chris Goins. He just takes the entry totally different than the one. Closes in again. Trying to switch it up. Drew's still getting a draft down the front stretch.
Now, depending how close they are to pit stops, I wonder if Drew's just content riding behind him at this point.
Well, now I'm curious to see how far they can really go. Are they in a situation where they're trying to stretch things out? Can they make this on one more stop if it happens to go green all the way? I think they can. Again, we went under the green flag. I think it was lap 38.
Yeah, they've already gone farther than I expected them to.
Blaze takes the spot once again. Crossover maybe coming this time, maybe not. Goins is going to have a run here. Have to sit in that draft of Drew Blaze down the front straightaway. Slides up the racetrack. Don't know if he made a mistake there or what happened, but Chris Goins goes back to the point.
Looks like he just kind of missed his entrance there.
It sounds like it. You heard him grabbing gears like crazy. I don't know if maybe he grabbed too many. Or he's going to pit.
Okay, yep.
Might have been nervous. Chris may have been a little aggressive in the rearview mirror for his liking. Wanted to kind of, quote unquote, mess up the corner, give Goins the position back so he can get to pit lane without getting run over. That's just my guess. Lap 66, though. Drew Blaze down pit lane. So that's 28 laps under the green flag, which means we're going to likely have to make one more stop unless we get a bunch of yellow flags in here. Tighten things up. Right side's on for Blaze. 4 tires in Sunoco Racing fuel. He's down and away. 15.15 seconds for the Garza Law Firm number 1.
Pretty fast for a pit crew in suits. Not bad.
Distinguished gentlemen they are.
Absolutely. Chris stays out here. That surprises me.
Maybe he's trying to make it on one stop. Terry Crouch is in. Now, see, honestly, I would kind of stick to Terry Crouch, and he is very, very intelligent when it comes to strategy. If he's got an idea in his head, he's going to test it 10 different ways to make sure that it's going to work.
And it's funny usually because all 10 ways usually work for him.
That's true, too.
He is very, very good at that.
You know, Terry Crouch, a guy that in a road course race opted for 3 tires instead of 4 because it saved him a second.
And it worked.
Oh, it worked. So Chris Goins still out in front. Terry Crouch, Mike Fahey, Tim Dummermuth, Clay Atwood, all in the pits.
Chris is doing it here. He's going to try to stretch this.
I think he is. I think he's got to go at least 2 more. Fahey back in it.
Now, you wouldn't normally think this, Steve, but with how long the straightaways are here, but it's a pretty easy track to save fuel in. You can back your corners up extremely well here and just coast straight through it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of would have to agree. I mean, we've talked about this a bunch, how, yeah, it's an oval, but it's very similar to a road course. It's just a lot of high speed and a lot of wide open throttle. But you do have to use the brakes, and any place that you're forced to use the brakes gives you opportunities to save fuel, because maybe use a little bit less brake and just lift that much earlier. The other thing that does, though, is it also allows you to get back to the gas a lot sooner, which we've seen, especially off turn number 3. Chris Goins was able to stab that throttle and just close right back in on Drew Blaze on exit. Did that twice. This really could work out either way for Chris Goins. Save fuel, make it one more stop, because he seems to be best late in the run.
Yeah, I think you're thinking what I'm thinking too, Steve, is he's going to have fresher tires too. I mean, every lap he goes is going to be a lap newer set of tires than Drew.
He stays out another lap too. And we saw that on the restart with Michael Doan. He only had 5 lap older tires than Terry Crouch, and he went through the field like a rock in the lake. I mean, just dropping immediately.
Yeah, it was an incredible difference. And Chris is going to know he can make it. Drew might be close.
Well, that's just it. I mean, Drew's great at saving tire and fuel. Here's a little more fuel savings. Tuck in behind the 24 of Blaney. Corey Deal in the pits. Now, see, that's the thing with Chris here is he's got to try and get down. He's finally got that low lane, but he had a couple cars to contend with. He was boxed in for a moment if he's coming this time.
I think it's almost got to be this time.
Last
unless
lap,
he maybe
56.33 for Goins. He's definitely losing some pace. But that's the other thing, too, is how much track position is Drew gaining here on the fresher tires while Chris stays out?
Oh, he is probably flying. I mean, what do you think? At least a couple seconds faster a lap.
Drew Blaze is running P6 right now, 34 seconds back. His last lap of 54.67. It's about a second and a half quicker if you want to go last lap to last lap, 1.3.
That might be either in traffic or he might be saving fuel already, too.
Blaze pit lap 65. That was 6 laps ago, so to lose a few tenths already isn't terribly surprising. I think Chris has got to come this lap.
Yeah, I think he has to. I mean, he's got more than enough fuel at this point. I think even for a green-white checker, he'd be fine. But he's staying low here. I think this is the time.
Yep, here he comes. Even for a green-white checker, though, I think if we were to get one late, I think everyone's going to come down anyway. I think they got plenty of tires for it.
Boy, there's a lot of smoke there, Steve. I hope he got it woed down in time.
Actually, I stand corrected. They've only got 2 sets of tires today, so this will be the final set for Chris Goins. What do you think? Does he go 2 or does he go 4?
He's going 4 all day.
Four tires and fuel for Chris Goins. Should be the final stop of the day unless we get a caution to change things up. Seems that everyone's burned up tires at this point. No one's got any left, I don't believe. Well, PJ Cox and Derek Welch do, but they haven't pit yet, so that doesn't count. So new leaders, PJ Cox. Derek Welch is second. These drivers still need to make their final stop of the day. Third place is Drew Blaze. He'll eventually cycle back out to the lead. Goins lost a ton of time in that cycle. 20 seconds the deficit for the 28 on Drew Blaze. Now, tables have turned a bit. But the difference is, as Drew Blaze wears out his tires, so is Chris Goins. Versus Drew having the brand new set and Goins out there on the old ones for, I think it was 7 laps. So that's where all that time was lost. PJ Cox and Derek Welch in the pit lane for their final stop. Blaze back to the lead. Terry Crouch into the second position. Chris Goins up to third. Now it's an 8-second deficit. So there was some math, I guess, that iRacing had to do. So this could still pay for Chris Goins. He's going to have to hustle the car.
Something else too, Steve. If the caution flies, that puts Goins right in the driver's seat with those brand new tires.
It really does. And in that case, again, everybody's pit, everybody's taken tires twice. That's all they had over the wall.
Yeah, they're done. And he still has the track position. I mean, he's got a pretty good deal going for him right now.
He's got an 8-second advantage over the 66 of Sean Roberts. So with 25 laps to go, just about, we're going to step aside, get one more HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. You won't miss a second of the action. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Pocono Raceway, the Lonestar Racing Cup Series Season number 2. It's the Pocono 247. Right now it's Drew Blaze, Terry Crouch, Chris Goins, Sean Roberts, Jason Blaney, the top 5. Of course, Drew Blaze, your pole sitter tonight. Terry Crouch, outside pole sitter. Chris Goins running third up 7 spots. Drew had to start from the back. Winner's penalty put him with the EOL at the very start. Masterful job to work his way all the way up through the field with 22 laps to go. You've got a hard charging Terry Crouch, just hungry for a victory in an oval race. Chris Goins there with a great long run car to see if he's got time to catch the one of Drew Blaze. He's 5.5 seconds back, 21.5 laps to go. What do you think, Zach? He's got time?
Man, I don't want to jinx anybody, but I think he's coming. I think he knows he can make it. He can push it. I think Drew might have to save a little bit. We know Terry is probably good on gas just because he's so darn good at it. So, I don't know. It's any 3 of them can win this race, and we have 20 laps to decide it. It just doesn't get much better.
Goes to the inside here. Mike Fahey, I think it was, goes topside. Gives the position no problem to Chris Goins, a lap car. Now that's nobody between himself and Terry Crouch. So once he catches the 59, it's going to be very important to see how quickly he can make that pass. Most of the time this afternoon, Terry has been very generous with giving that spot up once he knows he's beat. Might be the road racer in him. We'll see if he does it here. Looking to the inside, and there you have it. Chris Goins quickly takes the spot away. And you know what? You'll recognize it too. Maybe you already have. And I kind of said the same thing. And he might challenge back here, but the way he let that happen was the best way possible for the both of them to let it happen. It works out good for Chris because he gets by and gets the position, but it works out good for Terry Crouch because, yes, he loses the spot, but doesn't lose a whole lot of time. You see that so often in road racing where guys will say, all right, this is where you're going to pass me, or I'm going to let you pass here because this is the fastest way, so neither one of us lose a lot of time.
As soon as you said the road racer in him, I saw him kind of go up the track a little bit and then plan his exit so they came out together, and it was perfectly done. Neither one of them lost any time at all. The position was transferred. It was perfectly done. So
just a couple laps have elapsed since we talked about the deficit that Drew Blaze has on Chris Goins, and that's now 3.8 seconds. Goins has cut a couple of seconds into it here in just a few laps, even while passing the 59 of Terry Crouch. Again, still a ways to go. Catching him is one thing, passing him is another. It's been difficult to do, and really the only time we've seen Chris have to pass Drew Blaze is kind of a pass and repass situation. Haven't seen him have to track down the one this afternoon and take that position away. I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I could be, it happens a lot. Derek Welch running in the 11th position. Terry Crouch hanging on to that 3rd spot. Pretty good deficit back to Jason Blaney in 4th. About 14 seconds, a little bit less between the two. Ways to go. Again, knock on wood, we've been caution-free since lap 38. We had a handful of incidents early on, I think 4 to be exact, maybe even only 3. Nonetheless, these guys have cleaned up their act. We've had some good racing ever since. Again, huge racetrack here, so these guys have the opportunity to get spread out, especially through the cycle of a couple of green flag stops. Moment there, you saw Clay Atwood in the grass just a bit, kicking up some dust. Luckily, kept the car going straight. Fahey still running back in the 20th position, 1 lap down. He is the first car 1 lap down, so if we're to get a yellow, of course, he would become the lucky dog. He'd get that lap back. Fahey gets slowed up by the 5 quite a bit. Doesn't matter, wasn't for position. Clay Atwood gets back out in front of the 19. This could really work out for Fahey, though. Don't know if he's in a situation where he's trying to save fuel. His pit stop came at lap 68. Back out front, checking on the leader, Drew Blaze. Last time by a 55.36 to Chris Goins, 54.84. 2.5 seconds to go between the two of them if he maintains that pace. What are we thinking, about 5 more laps? He should be there, you'd say, right?
I'm thinking so, yeah.
Again, still some lap traffic to contend with before he can get to the back bumper of Drew Blaze. 15 laps to go.
By chance, did the one car give you any in-car cameras to see if he's saving?
We've got cameras on every car in the speedway, sir.
HBR-TV for the win.
He's out of the throttle. You can hear it already.
Oh, yeah.
He's not even wide open. And unlike Fox, ladies and gentlemen, we don't blur the dashboards.
Not a bit. Transparency.
In fact, we've got a better angle for you.
Look at that.
You know, with all that, him still saving fuel, you and I did talk about it a handful of laps ago, that this track being what it is, flat corners with braking required, you can still save fuel and still be fast. Blaze is still putting some okay laps. It's a 55.42 the last time to a 55.19 to Chris Goins.
Yeah, he's doing it the right way for sure.
No one's really surprised about this. Drew Blaze, great at saving tires, great at saving fuel, and he's got the pace to back it all up. Makes it a dangerous combination if you're trying to win some races. You know what that's like, Zach.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Zach coming
Been
up
there,
short in the
done that.
championship battle. Drew Blaze ended up taking it.
Wasn't too bad for missing a couple races. I think we did okay. It's always fun over here in the LSR, though. They put on great leagues. It's a great bunch of guys. If you're thinking about getting into a league, man, this is where it's at.
It's been fun, too. I mean, it's not the first league that HBR TV has broadcasted for, but I would say it's probably one of the first big-time serious leagues that we've broadcasted for. Of course, we started out with SCAR, and that's turned into the No Bowl Racing Series. But these guys have grown and grown and grown. The league has gotten better. The drivers have gotten better. I mean, across the board, it's just become a good league to be in. These guys are competitive. They'll show you. They'll help you. If you're not really up to pace, doesn't mean you can't be in here. They'll help you get up to pace.
And they really have anything you could ever want. You know, oval racing. They have a road course series. I mean, it's anything you could want.
I think they do dirt as well, right?
I believe so, yeah.
HBR TV broadcasting for the Cup Series and their GT3 Series. We don't do anything with the dirt side. 12 laps to go here at Pocono, though. Drew Blaze still out in front. Chris Goins in that second position, 1.6 seconds back.
He is there, Steve, but he's not super close. I don't know. It's lots of time. 12 laps at Pocono is a pretty long time, but I think he's not going full bore towards Drew just yet.
About 18 miles to go.
Jeez, yeah.
Well, more than that. About 29 miles to go.
Wow.
And that's just my local diploma math showing. Goins closes it down to 1.4, though, coming to 11 laps left. Does have one more lap car to contend with, or does he? He does not. Riding on the roof cam with Chris Goins. Looks so far away, but still cutting into that lead.
Boy, that is a great camera.
It's always fun when you can bury one in the racetrack. 1.2 seconds now for Drew Blaze. Again, still one car between Chris Goins and Drew Blaze. Chris will have to make that pass. Hopefully he finds him in an area that it doesn't affect him too terribly much. 10 laps to go from Pocono. Deficit not changing a whole lot between these two this time. Blaze still slowing up though, 55.73 to a 55.57 with Goins.
Chris gets past the lap car in a great spot. Didn't lose anything there.
1.1 seconds. May see this come in a little bit faster here. The closer Chris gets, the more slipstream he's going to be able to pull off the one. It may force Drew to stop saving fuel.
And that's where the strategy comes into play, Steve. Chris knows he's good on gas. Doesn't have to even worry about it.
It's definitely good on gas, but I still don't know about the tire situation. I know he does come alive later on in the run, but maybe he waited too long to pit. Maybe he's not going to get to that primo location in the late stages of those tires to really take full advantage. It's hard to say.
Another thing too, Steve, if Drew was out of the throttle that much, taking care of the car, trying to save gas, he's not using as much tires either.
He's saving a bunch, but meanwhile, Chris knows he's got plenty on board. He's pushing the car. I mean, hindsight being 20/20, you almost wonder if he had waited just a lap or two and then pit right after Drew, he would have had a better lead at this point in the race, whereas I don't know if Drew would have been able to undercut that much with the faster lap times. Gap under a second now, coming to 8 laps to go.
Only a tenth faster than that last lap.
Another lap car, the 20 of Dave Coburn, up top. Seven and a half laps to go. Blaze might need to go to the bottom here in the tunnel turn. Does. Lost a lot of time. Deficit to 6/10 with 8 laps to go. Going to be 7 the next time by. They do them in order.
That was huge right there.
Jones gets through, doesn't lose a whole lot of time or really any getting by Coburn.
And that's proof too, Steve, is sometimes it's actually harder to get through that lap traffic as the leader than it is like second or third or fourth place, because sometimes they don't even know you're coming. Sometimes they don't know where to get out of the way.
Well, so much where to get out of the way is one thing, but yes, you're exactly right about, we didn't know it was the leader. They just see a dot in the rearview mirror, and then the next corner, because it's the leader, it's one of the fast guys on the track, he's just there. And now it's panic mode to get around, make room for the guy. Well, now I know that's the leader. Well, this must be second place, so now I'm ready for him.
Right, exactly.
So it's being the leader, it's good, but it certainly has its fair share of challenges. Goins is there. Car length and a half, maybe 2. Off the back bumper of the Garza Law Firm #1 with 6.5 to go.
It's a Chevy and Chevy show tonight.
It's Chevy versus Ford, just so you know. Blaze is in a Mustang. Well, kind of.
I was going to say, that's one of them Drew Blaze things. It says Mustang on the back, but you get a better look at that front end there. It certainly looks like a Camaro.
It's a Camarang.
Is that one of them Europe cars? Or
Yeah, Chevy's got to love that.
Oh, that's fancy, yeah.
So Goins is there. 5.5 laps to go. We'll see if the 28's got anything left in the tank. I'm sure he's got plenty in the tank, but underneath the car, as far as the tires are concerned, it's go time. Was able to run him down from 5+ seconds back, coming to 5 laps to go. Goins is going to need to find a way around. This 4/10 of a second faster than Blaze. I'm sorry. Yes, than Blaze the last time by. This time across the line, Blaze goes 55.77. Gones is a tick slower with an 85. Lift just a bit, slid the nose.
This could kill his tires a little bit too, being in the dirty air.
Oh, drives it way deep into one. Yeah, that really messed up his corner big time too, because messed up his entry. You heard him lift a bunch on exit. Dirty air making that car push quite a bit. You almost got to think that he's got to try and set up that pass in turn 3 like he has a couple of times. But as we spoke about early on, really the only time he's been able to get around Blaze is that pass and repass type scenario. That both times it happened in turn 3. Certainly had the pace to run Drew down. And yes, there's other battles on the racetrack, but they are far in the rearview mirror. Terry Crouch back in P3, 10 seconds back from this battle. Then it's another 22 seconds to 4th, 24 to 5th. We're going to stay right here. 2.5 laps to go. Drew Blaze, your leader. Chris Gones runs in the second spot. Out of turn number 3, coming to 2 laps to go. It's 0.2 of a second, the advantage for Drew Blaze. Remember, Drew started at the tail of the field, had to drop to the rear before this one started. It's gone from worst to first with less than 2 to go, but he's got a hard-charging Chris Gones at the back door. Better turn 1 for the 28. Deficit 1 car length. It's all that it is. Straightaways, that's a big help for Chris Gones. The corners, it's sliding the nose. He makes a look to the inside. Nothing doing there. Maybe trying to get in the mirror of the 1. Getting his attention here. Coming to the white flag. Is a bump coming?
Ooh.
White flag waving one more time around. Drew Blaze takes the white flag. One more lap. Can Chris Gones get on by the 1 and take this win, or is he going to settle for the second spot? Back down into turn number 1. We'll see if he gets the run. It's less than a car length. Mid-corner, on exit. 10th and a half. Some lap traffic just up ahead. Don't know if it'll play a factor. Drew Blaze leads him into turn 3 for the final time. Can Gones do anything with it? Might have drove it in too deep. Final corner, front stretch, checkered flag waves. Chris isn't going to do it. Drew Blaze takes the checkered flag. The Pocono 247 goes to Garza Law Firm. Second place, Chris Gones. Terry Crouch, Jason Blaney, Nick Kolakowski, the top 5.
Boy, great race by both these guys. The strategy played out really well.
Certainly exciting. It didn't materialize. You wonder if Chris just made his move too early, got some heat in the tires. Either way, a strong run for the 28. A masterful job by the one of Drew Blaze. 2 weeks in a row, but this week starts in the back, worst to first.
I gotta wonder if he has enough gas for some burnouts.
Well, that's the other part is I would have bet my life he didn't have enough fuel. But again, as soon as you bet against Drew Blaze, he cost you some money. Not really entirely sure why he's still in the throttle here, but oh, because he hasn't made it back around yet? No, he's on the backstretch again.
I thought that was the start line back there a couple turns ago. I mean, some people just really like Pocono.
I guess. Maybe he's just showing off how much fuel he had. And here he is, the one at Drew Blaze, start finish. Time to celebrate.
Oh, that might be it. Half a donut anyway.
Just had to take that extra lap. All right, well, we're going to jump out, get a break out of the way, be back with our top three finishers after this. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Drew, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Thrilling finish. Chris Goins reeled you in, couldn't do anything with you at the end. We got to ask about the fuel strategy. Obviously, you went an extra lap post-race. No fuel for burnouts, but was it close? Were you in fuel conservation mode for a good portion of the run? Walk us through that.
I wasn't really backing off. I was, backing off to save tires throughout the beginning of the run. But other than that, from what I was seeing, I was going to be good on fuel just to make the end. But obviously, I couldn't do a burnout. Didn't have enough left. But things you got to cut down on to win races.
Well, either way, you started out in the back. You finished the race up front. So worst to first victory. Very impressive. How was it working your way through the field? It seemed to happen very quickly. We seemed after the first caution, I think you were just sniffing the top 10 already. Was it like dodging landmines out there, or is it pretty smooth?
It was a little rough. I mean, it's going into the corners here, especially the tunnel turn. It gets a little scary, and some guys overdrive the car and kind of clip the wall coming out of there. So it was not like dodging landmines. I wouldn't describe it as that, but it was, you definitely have to be patient and be careful because, people tend to, once you get underneath, they just push a whole lot harder. So you just got to be careful and see, who's around you and what they're doing.
Certainly saw a little bit of that early on in the race, but a long green flag run. I think the green came back out lap 38, went all the way to the finish without any more issues. So well done by all you guys out here in the Lonestar Racing Cup Series. You guys did a great job, yourself obviously included. Next week, we roll out to Dover. Significantly different racetrack than what we've got here at Pocono. The Monster Mile, concrete surface, high banks, high speed. What are your thoughts out going into Dover next week?
Yeah, Dover's going to be a whole different beast than what we've had so far here in these first 3 races of the season. I'm anticipating a couple more wrecks probably. It's just a very tight track, and if you're too wide, it's kind of hard to come off the corner and not wash up, unless you're, really being careful. So, I don't know. I think we'll see some guys being, overdriving and things like that. But, it's going to happen. It's natural. It's a tight track, so.
We certainly do see it here and there, but again, they're just impressed with the skill level and the improvement of skill levels across everybody in this league. You guys are doing an awesome job. Again, congratulations, Drew, on the victory here tonight at Pocono. We're going to let you go. Who do you want to shout out to?
Yes, sir. Thank Garza Law Firm, Lonestar Racing, Mike Fahey, Justin Johnson, all my teammates, everybody who helps out with this league, everybody who runs, and thank you for putting on the broadcast. Couldn't be more happy with what we've seen here so far. Just keep going.
Well, again, congratulations, Drew. Good luck next week. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Drew Blaze, your race winner here, worst to first. Always cool when that happens. Certainly impressive. Worked it on the strategy, saved a little fuel, saved a lot more tire, was able to hold off Chris Goins for the victory. Speaking of Chris Goins, our second place finisher in that AgentDotson.com ride. New colors on board this week. Let's pull Chris Goins into the broadcast booth. Chris, Steve, and Zach in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, Steve. What's going on?
Dejected, I'm sure. You had a fast race car out there tonight. Great on the long run. You took care of it, kept it clean. Waited a little bit too long, at least my opinion, on the fuel. What's your take on it? What could you have done differently to win this race?
Well, I probably should have pitted about a lap earlier than I did. I saw Drew pit, and when Drew pit, I still had 6 laps of fuel left, and I was trying to calculate on the fly, and I could have swore there was no way he was making it on fuel from where he was, so that's why I decided to stay out a little bit longer. The fact that I only got behind 8 seconds after that pit stop, I was surprised because I ran another 5 laps, but the car was fast. I was able to save tires and keep the speed up throughout the long run, but just got behind him there at the end, and he'd pull away from me there right at the end of the run. So I think we were kind of to that point, and then I just kind of got stuck in his wake, and car just started pushing real bad through the corner. So I just couldn't get beside him enough to make the move.
Truly is how we saw it. I mean, when Drew came down pit lane, Zach and I both thought it's awfully early. We really thought he was planning on another stop after that. Just didn't see how he was going to be able to make it that far. He did say he wasn't saving quite as much fuel, was mostly trying to save tire, but kind of take it easy on the tires. You kind of save a little bit of fuel as well. We thought you were making the right call at the time. We were just a little concerned about kind of that undercut with the pace that the one was going to have on the fresher rubber, but you reeled them back in. You did a good job with it, and then we saw the same thing. You got tucked in behind. Yeah, that helps on the straightaways, but didn't help in the corners. You got a little arrow tight. You had one last shot there with 2 to go. Walk us through that attempt. What went wrong? What could you have done different to make that pass stick?
I think the only thing I could have done to make that pass work there was dump Drew, and I don't race like that. So I got underneath him, and it started pushing just a little bit. I mean, it was sticking pretty good, but we were so close, and you know, I like Drew. We run a lot together, and you know, I'm not out to wreck anybody for a win. I mean, that's not how I race. So I kind of backed out of it just a hair, and tried to set up that last lap, and just couldn't make that move again. So,
well, Chris, it was an impressive run regardless. You certainly put in the work. Almost got the reward for it, but pretty close in the second position. Nicely done.
I appreciate it, Steve. Thank you.
Next week we go to Dover. Completely different style racing we're going to have to contend with. Again, high banks, concrete surface, high speeds. How do you feel about Dover Motor Speedway?
Man, me and Dover have a love-hate relationship. It really depends. I'm never really all that great there. So, well, I guess we'll see if I can. Maybe I can save some tires there too, and kind of work my way towards the front. But we'll see. I'm not as confident about that one as I am Pocono. So.
Well, put the practice in, Chris. Congratulations again on a P2 and a solid run tonight. You look good out there. Thanks for talking to us. Who do you want to shout out to before you go?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting, LSR for putting the league on, Eric Dotson Agency, State Farm Agency. You know, the only thing faster than this Camaro tonight is his customer service. So if you're looking for insurance up in West Virginia, give him a call. So other than that, I look forward to talking with you guys hopefully again next week after the race.
Nicely done, Chris. Again, good luck next week.
I appreciate it.
It's Chris Goins, your runner-up here from Pocono Raceway. Obviously not happy. He thought he had that win, but got to run all the laps. You got to be the first of the line. He wasn't. P2 it is. Next, we're going to go to Terry Crouch, our third place finisher. Certainly going to be happy again. Terry, it's Steve and Zach in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Another conversation with Terry Crouch, the number 59. Got some new colors on that race car tonight. Started up near the front, outside front row. I'd say that's a pretty good start for the qualifying aspect of things. Led some laps early on, slipped a little bit, but gathered it back up into a top 3 finish, man. Tell us about your night.
You know, every one of these is just an education, and I thought I was saving. I did practice this week, so I found what I thought I had, and I figured low 56s at the tail end of a run would be good enough, but I just didn't know how good some of these guys were going to be. So it was really fun. It's just learning each and every week, so I'll take it.
So let me ask you about Living Print. It's a new paint scheme we've seen on your car. Is this just a random one-off, or is this something that's actually got some value to you?
Oh no, it's my app that's launching. It's on the Google Play Store and the Android Store now. It's merges physical printed postcards with like slideshows and live video and QR codes. So service members and people on vacation can take all these pictures of while they're out there, and then have a physical card print that they can mail to family. And when the family scans that QR code, they'll see with music and slideshow and videos and everything. It's out now.
Very cool. We'll have to check that out. Sounds like in spring break times, you might want to download it right now and check it out.
Yeah, it's brand new, but it's got a lot of good feedback so far. So we'll see.
Very cool. Well, back to the racing aspect of things. We asked the top 2 about Dover next week. Certainly a different style racetrack, completely different type of thing. Things happen in a hurry out at the Monster Mile. Tell us your thoughts about Dover.
Well, I'm usually pretty good at Dover right up until I'm dead. So it's kind of there's no middle ground. So I don't know. It's like I feel great, and all of a sudden the rear's loose out of 2, or I hit the apron in 4. Or, we'll see. I'll just try and survive and start chaining some of these things together instead of early exits.
Well, Terry, congratulations again. Top 3 finish here at Pocono. Thanks for talking to us. Anyone else you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Well, every week it seems to be wife Jill, daughter Aurora, grandkids, Sim Pit, and TLDR Simport. But this week I want to thank Mike Fahey for not killing me, because when he was behind me for 10 laps, I was petrified. So that was cool.
Terry, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week at Dover.
All right, take care, boys.
Terry Crouch, your third place finisher. Great top three tonight. Everybody ready for their interviews, shout outs, the whole 9 yards. Let's take a look at our race results. Of course, we talked to our top three already. Fourth place finisher on the night. Started fourth, finished fourth. Jason Blaney, the number 24 machine with Fueled Up Motorsports. Nick Kulikowski finished in P5. Sixth went to Sean Roberts, the number 66 machine. Seventh was Corey Deal. PJ Cox brought it home in the 8th spot. Derek Welch was 9th. Michael Doan finished 10th. Kevin Blue was 11th. Justin Johnson 12th. 13th finishing position, Tim Dummermuth. Chris Klein was 14th. Mark Collins was 15th. Jarrett Woodard brought it home in the 16th spot. Dan Storm was 17th. 18th position for Dave Coburn. And speaking of Mike Fahey, he was 19th, matching up with his number. Ken Blackburn, the number 155, finished 20th. Ken Couch was 21st. Jonathan Arnn, 22nd. Clay Atwood was 23rd. Daryl Larson, 24th. Tommy Kohick, 25th. Juan Jimenez, classified 26th, did not take the green flag, which is a shame. He was fast in practice, right up there with Drew Blaze. It would have been nice to have him in the mix tonight, but not to be the case. Maybe next week at Dover, we shall see. Lastly, thanks for Zach jumping up in here in the broadcast booth, doing this, well, out of his own pocket, essentially. He gets a little help for the Lonestar Racing stuff, but here, donating his time, I certainly do appreciate that. It makes my job 10 times easier, and, well, it's a benefit for the league because it makes the broadcast a little bit better. So, Zach, thanks for jumping up here, man.
Hey, you bet, Steve. Anytime you say Pocono and Fahey Wrecking, I'm here, man.
Also, a big thanks to the stream chat people we have. Let's see, Chris Harvey, as usual. We had Michael Figler. Strife, one of the drivers, still don't know who that was. We'll figure it out at some point. Let's see, Big Blue, that's Kevin Blue. Zach the Hack. Let's see who else. Cody Anderson, of course. Zach Millett jumped in. Tristan Sykes. Chris Fahey, as always. Appreciate all you guys jumping in here. The stream chat is a big part of our broadcast. I don't know, it may be shame on me for not knowing if a lot of the other broadcast platforms really pay a whole lot of attention to it. But I'm glad you guys are a part of it. I love having it a part of the broadcast. Chris Goins confirming that Strife is Tom Kohick, so thanks, Chris Goins. Guys, feel free every week. Just kind of keep it clean, keep it PG. You want to have rivalries, that's fine, but tell us that you're watching. Tell us where you're watching from, who you're cheering for, all that stuff. It's really cool to see. We didn't see our friend Haley from Sweden tonight, but she is in here from Sweden watching almost every race, okay? This time of night, it's like 3, 4 in the morning over there. She's watching us, so that's pretty cool. Appreciate all you guys for watching, tuning in the stream chat, what have you. The biggest thing I could ask from you now, if you haven't already done it, youtube.com/@HBRTV, the number 1. Give us a like, a follow, a share, subscribe. Most important, turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single lap here at HBRTV. Also, give us the same thing. Follow, like, share, subscribe over on Facebook.com/HBRTV1. Stream links typically get posted there as well. I'm kind of laxed on that. I'll have to pick up that ball and run with it again. And occasional posts, typically post-race pictures, things of that nature. Nothing too crazy. We are not going to blow up your phone with notifications. So please help us out. It helps the channel. It helps the stream. It helps the league. Really appreciate you guys doing that. It's going to wrap it up for us here at Pocono Raceway. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV. For Zach Millett saying have a good night. Thanks for watching, guys.